Yeah, the first question is more about you, your title, role, responsibilities, and it would be just really interesting to learn more about you.
Our company is a unique one. We teach kids chess through storytelling. It started as a small boutique tutoring business in New York City, and now we do private tutoring in LA. We have online lessons across the continental US, opened up a club in Singapore, and have a Hong Kong branch. We're going to be expanding even further. We have a board game version of our curriculum. My time with the company is kind of a unique one where I was a tutor, a New York City actor that needed money to act so he wasn't starving. There was this gig to teach kids chess and tell them stories. So I was like, great, I'll do that. As the company grew, so did my capabilities with the company. It started with me getting a small team and being a little more responsible for the team here in New York. And then slowly but surely from there, I went on to be in charge of the sales wing of the company.
Mhm.
And then I found that I was deeply dissatisfied with how we did sales here. We did it the old way, where we would have an email capture and a phone capture, and we'd capture those, and then we'd call them and be like, hey, can I help you get something? And it was very hands-on sales experience. Then I realized that I was spending so much time calling every single client, trying to set them up for a chess lesson, where I realized that as a company, we weren't doing any good marketing or growth. So I went to my bosses and I said, can I be the director of growth? And they said, yes, you can. And I was like, great, I'd like to change everything. And they were like, all right, fine. And they actually let me. So now you can go to our website and purchase a trial. The trials used to be free. I changed them to cost money because I realized the company was devaluing what we were doing. And then now lessons come in all by themselves without us doing any sales. I also, when I came on, I realized that to really do growth, to really grow a company, before you do all the fancy stuff of marketing or trying to find your audience or figure out what your voice, all that stuff, none of that works if your operations is failing, right? It doesn't matter if you get a million leads if your company doesn't know what to do with leads. It doesn't matter if you get a whole bunch of people coming in if you don't know what the process is. So this past year, 2024, was me revamping and revitalizing everything we do operationally so that we were ready for the growth that I was anticipating. And then now this year, we're really going to be focusing on that growth by really making a marketing funnel. I think a marketing funnel is something that a lot of people hear. It's a very buzzwordy thing, and a lot of people think they understand what it means when really a good marketing funnel is lots of things all working towards a communal goal, right? That's why it works like that funnel. Whereas if I have an ad over here, if I do this thing over there, it's okay, but they're not working together. So now we're working on a strategy where all these disparate parts of the business are incorporating into one idea, one thing, one brand, one solution. And that's how I became the director of growth by implementing these things.
Cool, very cool pivot.
Yeah.
But yes, and I guess like bringing this attention to the growth and doing it maybe organically, like you already started talking about. What do you? When was the last time you had to implement like some sort of SEO growth or content growth or maybe other types of organic growth campaigns? You kind of mentioned a few. Could you talk more about that time?
Oh, sure. I mean, our company is a funny one. It started with just a couple of guys who were up to no good, teaching some chess to kids. And the way businesses, when they're small like that, work is referral based. It's very grassroots, right? Friend of a friend, parent of a mother. This person knows that person. And our company, since we started that way, has really leaned into that. So much so that we even incentivized tutors to bring in referrals to make the business grow. That's how we were able to grow these last 10 years. Tutors aren't coming on anymore thinking, I want to grow my book of business. They're coming in, I want to have a good job and I want to do my job well. So, good chunk of our business, I would say, if I had to guess off the top of my head a number, I would say 85% of our business right now is all referrals. It's all moms telling other moms about what we do. And I think And because of that, we've always had a very organic growth trajectory in terms of that. And I think now what we're going to do is we're realizing that we should capitalize on that good faith. We've started to do it already, small, deliberate experiments with our marketing emails being more goal geared towards, giving value and all the things you're supposed to do, but very much having these moms, these dads, these parents in mind. That's why we're also going to be changing up that same funnel and flow I was talking about to really lean in on our clients being our advocates. I think a realization that I made a while ago is they're already our biggest advocates, right? They're already referring us in record-breaking numbers percentile to, I'm sure, most direct-to-consumer kind of businesses. 80 to 85% referrals is crazy high. And that's without activating them. That's without doing anything to them. That's without offering them anything. That's without advertising to them. I think in the past, our advertising dollars were spent on trying to garner new leads and trying to find more people. But I actually think that's a little wrong. I think we have to find ways to activate the community we already have. The way we're going to do that is we're going to be bringing on a social media person soon whose
Mm.
job it will be to just do that. We're talking to a developer right now about, it's actually really complicated, all the APIs and functionality, but a referral and loyalty program. So that way we can literally reward these families for rewarding us so much, but also incentivize them to keep doing it and continue to do that. It's funny, we used to do, since we were such a small business, we used to do a lot of events. We used to do tons of events. And then we realized that they don't work because we were thinking about, I want to go to this event and sign up 10 families. And that's not really how it works. It needs to be a part of that funnel. So we have taken a pause from events, but I assume in the coming year or two, we'll probably restart doing events, but with that intention of being top of funnel marketing in mind, not being upset at ourselves when we don't get 10 families to sign up because we spent 500 or $1,000 on this random event, but realizing that it's like, no, these are all touchstones into all these things. And then if we're in the community, we're doing those things, moms are talking about us, they see our social media content, it'll all work together, like I said, as a part of a funnel instead of these disparate ideas. But
Makes
yeah,
sense almost. And I suppose, like, as you described the process of organic growth, what's the most difficult?
I wish I could say it's like coming up with the content or the strategy, but truly it's tracking the data, right? I think we're a funny company because we're service based, but we have a kind of a direct to consumer mindset about things. And that's where the whole like industry is geared towards, really, for smaller businesses is direct to consumer things. But we're also not subscription based. Like a parent can sign up for a lesson and then they can schedule lessons whenever they want. We encourage them to do weekly lessons, but they don't have to. It has to be like that because we're dealing with kids that are 3, 4, 5, 6 years old and they might have hockey or a vacation or these things. So the lifetime value of a client is always fluctuating a lot. And even that data in and of itself is hard to track. We, as a tutoring business, had to just change our tutoring software this last year, which has been helping a lot. And we finally have some metrics on where clients come from, where the ad spend comes from. But truly, truly the biggest thing, and it's why we've had to be very reticent in the levers we pull and the decisions we make, is because I'm not comfortable doing anything without at least some data. And the data for did that event or did that Instagram post or did that ad or did that thing bring this client in is really disparate and disjointed. And it's not that simple, right? A client doesn't see an ad, click the ad, sign up. I mean, that does happen sometimes, and we do have that data. But truly, it's a client sees an ad, and they see a Instagram post, and they see us in their school, and then they see us over here, and then they're like, "Let me check it out," and then they go to our website, and then they're not ready yet, so maybe they'll put their email in, and then maybe in another year, one of our random emails about St. Patrick's Day comes up to their thing. They're like, you know what? Let me finally give this a try sometime. So, how do you quantify that? How do you track that? How do you gauge that? And how to like make a data set on something that's so organic, that's so ethereal
Yeah,
because it takes so long.
that makes sense. It's like a whole profession called attributions.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite difficult.
And we're still a little too small to have like a department around it. We're at the point right now where we can be very large, but it's now here making these decisions that are going to get us there. But it's also, we don't have an infinite cash pool. So to decide where to spend that money is tough.
Makes sense. And I suppose like if you had a magic wand here, what would that be? What would you do?
Oh gosh, I wish there was a way, and this almost doesn't even exist, but I wish there was a way where no matter how a client sees us, whether it's an ad, whether it's a post, whether it's a friend, they like get a label or get it, they're tagged somehow in some system. Like if you saw, you like get that tag, you get that ad, and then I can see how many of those things it took for you to get here and which ones were successful and which ones stopped you and where. So if I had a magic wand, I guess it would just be to be able to follow a client every step of the way before they become a client.
Wow, that's really interesting. I suppose like the open-ended part of questions is sort of like what we wanted to ask.